How's it going, Radical viewers, and welcome back to another Grim Rolls, where we try to recreate well-known, unique, or infamous characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Timestamps down below in the description for your convenience, but for now, let's dive into the lore of today's subject.
You can set it all on fire.
The rogue Jarlaxle, as he was known among his people of Menzoberranzan, a male drow who, despite in all circumstances a houseless rogue, rose to a unique form of power in his matriarchal society as head of a mercenary band known as Bregan D'Earth, with its members filtering themselves deep within the rank and file of the noble houses, ensuring he had an eye and an ear in near every corner of the Underell city. Described as a handsome, bald, and more often than not, wearing a wide-brimmed plumed hat with a flamboyant attitude to match. Gifted with a shrewd mindset to pragmatism, holding a wealth of magical equipment, items, and clothing on his person at virtually all times, Jarlaxle made himself a force to be reckoned with via cunning and subtlety spilled from honeyed words and confident tones. Even his closest allies, at the peak of their estimations of him, would always fall short of the reality that is known as Jarlaxle. Regretfully, that's all I can really say without giving away more from a fantastic book series I wholeheartedly recommend, as his is one of many tales told in Legend of Drizzt series by R.A. Salvatore. Jarlaxle is introduced early in the series, and more is revealed throughout, trickled in by occasional schemes or plots that he worms his way into. As a character, he's fantastic. As a potential Tav, the sky's the limit on what is open to you. For our starting race, we're selecting Lulthsworn Drow. Being born to a noble house in Menzoberranzan, it's all but impossible not to be one. For background, we're choosing Charlatan, as our dear Jarlaxle is many things, including many things he is not. Our starting, and possibly only class for this build, is going to be Rogue. Though starting as a fighter is not a terrible idea if you decide to mix in some of the more martial prowess to add to the flavor of his character. Though from the beginning I will argue, Jarlaxle has been described as a rogue first and foremost. For appearance, in the general tab, we're going to select body type 1, head 5, lichen tone 6 for the skin tone, and no scarring. For body art, if you enjoy the new book covers that have come out for the Legend of Drizzt series, the Caldera tattoo in white 1 with 8 to 12 intensity isn't quite the same, but it's awfully close to the look they give him in the latest interpretations, as well as bard rings for piercings. For eyes, we're choosing red 6. Makeup, we can leave default, as I feel it adds a bit more character, though you can just select none as well. For hair, we're going bald, and we're never looking back, just like our dear charming drow. Our ability scores are as thus. We're going to have an 8 in strength, a 14 in dex, a 14 in con, 12 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 13 charisma, with our plus 2 going to our dex, and our plus 1 going to our charisma, making our dex 16 and our charisma 14. Our skills we're going to put into investigation, sleight of hand, stealth, perception, deception, intimidation, and persuasion, with our expertise in deception and persuasion, as Jarlaxle will always try to talk his way through a situation first before resorting to blades and magic. As for levels 2 through 12, that depends on a number of things. If you did start with Rogue, I commend you. If you're playing on console, I actually would strongly recommend taking at least 5 to 6 levels of Fighter Champion and the rest in Rogue Thief. But, if you're playing on PC, and enjoy the wealth of options available for mods, there is one that gives us the Swashbuckler subclass for Rogue, which Jarlaxle is directly mentioned as for his fighting style by Artemis and Trary. If that's an option, put every level into this subclass and never look back. Also for level 6 for Rogue, we're going to pick up expertise in sleight of hand and perception. For equipment, Jarlaxle tends to favor throwing daggers, longswords, and rapiers, which we thankfully have a plethora of in various flavors in the game. But one thing that will always come up when Jarlaxle is mentioned is some magic item, be it a ring, a necklace, a hat, a cloak, even his boots and earrings. You could say he's a bit of a hoarder, and probably isn't that close of a friend to Gale when his boots are on the line. Also, all the spell scrolls, because you never know what will be useful and when. For necessary feats, we're mostly going with ability score improvements with dex and charisma until we have an 18 in dexterity and a 16 charisma minimum. along with a skill feat to pick up Arcana, History, and Insight skill proficiencies. Jarlaxle was an intriguing case to play as, with the ideas of pragmatism, mercenary, reward-driven being what basically drove all my decisions, and they were intriguing to say the least. If there was an obviously magical item, I always tried to snag it, including the infamous relic in Shadowheart's hands. When it comes to companions, Jarlaxle would do what he does best, form a band to get him what he needs, or what he wants. He wouldn't have much of a problem picking up everyone, finding them endearing at best and useful at worst. Even Laziel would be seen as a nice angry cudgel to use once in a while Astarion he'd probably find a lot of kinship with. He'd toy with Shadowheart for fun, while Will and Karlach would be seen as foolish, though would still smile at their kind, caring hearts. In my brief playthrough of Jarlaxle, I found myself more drawn towards Gale of all people. Something about his odd charm I felt meshed well with Jarlaxle. Maybe it's the confident vernacular, or just he favors all the curiosities of magic. Though again, he might fight a wizard over a pair of boots in the future. I certainly did. Depending on the situation, I'd either wow with charm and talk my way out of the fight, or if I'm not a particular fan of whoever I'm speaking to, I'd seek a reward for the use of my skills. This has made some friends, and less than friends, especially as I started getting more confident in getting what I wanted from the non-player characters. Once again, thank you all for what has become one of my favorite series to do, and if you liked the video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Every click helps, and every word, be it kind or critique, helps spur on more content just like this. Also, consider checking out my other content, be it more character builds, playthroughs, or what have you. Soon we're going to be wrapping up the rest of the Companions of the Hall, and other than a Dritz playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, I'll be coming up with whatever I can. But I always ask the viewers first and foremost. For that, I am always open to ideas, opinions, and requests, so feel free to not just like, share, and subscribe, but drop a comment about what you might like to see in the future of Grimrolls. Until then, though, stay radical, viewers, and we will catch you all in the next video. See you then.
Warm, wet tentacles wrap themselves around your head, and for the first time in your life, you're perfectly happy.